Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Thick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Joel, you're back with us. Thanks. You got up there for a second. I was worried about you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, this morning. On this show, we have to talk about the continued action in the headlines from this trade war that seems to weigh on the market a little bit overnight, every single night. We have some earnings to discuss. We have an offering or two on the table, and a massive retail note from UBS that we're going to want to highlight because that seems like it's the note of the morning in retail. Our guest today is joining us at 8:35. That's Hima Reddy. She's an author and financial analyst, and himareddy.com is her site. And again, she'll join us at 8:35. Joel, what is doing this morning in the S&P 500 futures?
Well, I don't know what Dennis was doing last night, but we have a 23-point range in the overnight futures. We went all the way up to 27.85 in a quarter, getting back to that 27.80 handle. And then we just trickled down, started to head south, and went down to 27.62. So 23-point range, but that's history. We're just waiting for the close here to see what we can do at 27.72. And also mid-range on the session is 27.74. So there's two big levels to keep an eye on. Crude down, $1.01 at 64.70. Gold futures down 9.40 at 12.65.20. Silver down a nickel at 16.26. Dennis, I guess we don't need a reason, right? That's just the way the market moves, 23, 24-point ranges overnight.
Yeah, big ranges overnight. But I want to go back to what you were just talking here. We don't give the Bitcoin number anymore. You used to always give us the Bitcoin update. Have we eliminated Bitcoin from the show?
No. We got to get a little thing in the corner like CNBC here. They
have it going nonstop. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why. It's like CNBC we've talked about, and I've mentioned this before. CNBC, at least Fast Money, has a bullish segment on Bitcoin every single day. I think it's like 50 of the last 51 shows CNBC Fast Money has had a bullish Bitcoin segment. So not sure who's long Bitcoin over there. They're trying to push it along.
Oh,
but,
come on. Get out of here with that stuff.
Is it though? Why?
Get out of here.
Why? You know why? There's one and only one reason why they're doing that.
Ratings.
Someone's paying them. They're getting paid.
No, come on.
Get
out of here.
There's some advertising. Oh yeah.
I think it's just that it's attracting the younger viewer.
Yes, I agree.
I think it's the younger viewer. I think there's a lot of people who are really intrigued by the crypto, and it's attracting them. And I don't know, they've been talking about this bullish all the way down. I mean, they were, I guess, talking about bullish somewhat on the way up too, but kind of late to the party. A lot of people were late to the party here in Bitcoin, and I don't know. Anyways, we don't give it any love, so I feel bad because on 60 Minutes CNBC Fast Money Show, they give it 15 minutes every day. We don't give it 15 seconds anymore.
How does CNBC make money?
Ratings.
And what else? Advertising, right?
Right. Which is from ratings. Right.
So people pay advertising in the Bitcoin. There's a big Bitcoin money added.
Beyond?
Yes.
I think there is guests, obviously, who pay to be on. I just don't know if it's the Bitcoin, segment of the party that's paying to be on. I think some of these guys are coming on, and they are experts in their field, and they know a lot about it. But, like last night, on CNBC Fast Money, they got the Litecoin guy. What's his name, Spencer? Look it up in the background. The founder of Litecoin. And they've got him, and he's just talking up the Bitcoin and talking up the crypto. And I'm like, this is the guy that sold his entire...
Yeah, didn't he say he was selling everything?
Bitcoin
Charlie Lee,
back
right?
in like November, right at the very peak. And his excuse was that, it's a conflict of interest for me to talk bullish about it and own it. That was his excuse for selling all of his Litecoin at like $390. Now Litecoin is like $50 or $60 or whatever the hell it is. And they've got this on, and obviously, and he comes on, he's so bullish Bitcoin and so bullish all the cryptocurrency. But he doesn't even hold any anymore. He sold it all.
Well, I guess that means
it's unbelievable that the guy even gets airtime, because I was just that was the top.
Well,
I was
would you rather he talk his book, or would you rather him be on?
What do you mean? Like, so okay, well, he's not going to own. He's the founder, and he doesn't own any of it. Well, I mean, it's like the CEO of a company. Should the CEO of a company not own the stock because he's going to be talking about the stock and running the company? It's absurd. It's not like he's a hedge fund manager. It's not like he's, like somebody like us, a trader. He's the founder. Of course he should have some.
All right. Well, I'll tell him that when I see him.
I'm getting some love from the chat here. Texas Linda says money talks, and Ed Parker said absolutely correct. Money rules CNBC. So
money rules everything.
Well, money rules everything. So
money rules everything. Money rules us too. All right. If you want to pay us to be on the show, crypto guys will bring you on.
yeah, exactly. But can I give you a level, Spencer? Can you get the Bitcoin futures on your chart here? Because really bunching up at 6,800 here. I don't know if we have any Bitcoin futures traders here, but oh man, I can't believe it. Since June 11th, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 9th day in a row where it's just kind of stopped at 6,800. So if you're looking for a potential breakout in it, where it's 67.35 right now, down 22.50, get rid of that seller at 6,800, and I think you could see a little bit of a rally. But it's 8:07, Dennis. We need to talk some stocks.
Yeah, we talked 5 minutes on Bitcoin now, so that's the 5 minutes we'll give it for the next month. Let's move on to the stocks. Lots of earnings to talk about there. Let's go to the big gun from last night. I do own this, my invest portfolio still. Micron with the pretty good report, a hit, but then a miss, but then it popped. So dropped and then popped.
The Q3 adjusted EPS, $3.15, was a 4-cent beat. Sales of 7.8 versus $7.72 billion, so a beat there as well. They gave some guidance on the conference call. Q4 EPS guidance, $3.23 to $3.37 is the range they gave. That's higher than the estimate of $3.21. Sales guidance in line at actually slightly lower at $8 to $8.4 billion.
We know the earnings are cyclical. I can't talk this morning. Cyclical, but holy cow, they make a lot of money. They're going to make another $3. They make $3 this quarter, $3 next quarter. I mean, this company right now is just rolling in the cash. If I was them, I'd like initiate. Well, I guess I can't initiate a dividend because you don't know your earnings. If the next year are going to be just as good. But I think, did they already do a buyback? Didn't they announce a buyback a while ago? Spencer,
I think
did they announce a buyback?
Yeah, that was
trying to figure out what they should do. Maybe you should give a special dividend.
Oh, listen,
shareholders. I like the special divvies. Maybe you should give like a $5 special dividend. That thing would pop up big time.
Yeah, $10 billion buyback on May 21st.
All right, so $10 billion buyback they got going. They got all this excess cash. They keep making so much money. So give me a special dividend. Let's do it. Give us like $5 or something, Micron. Let's do this.
All right, Dennis, did you catch any of that dip here? Because in the lower 57 handle, you've had multiple lows. 57.11 was actually your 2-day low, and that's right where they whacked it to. 57.15, we're getting a nice rebound here. I'll give you the pre-market high. Pre-market high is in the 62 handle, just over 62 at 62.03. What's been the high of the move? Oh, we went up to 64.86. So that's been the recent high of the move. The only thing I have in the 62 handle for you folks is 62.55. If you want to look at a level, that was your high on June 11th.
Just incredible how much money they make. Other earnings stocks there last night. We're going to go to the ones from last night. I want to get to the ones this morning. American Outdoor Brands, which is, what was their old ticker symbol?
Smith & Wesson.
The old Smith & Wesson. Stock got the pop, but then got the drop. You know what? This last week of earnings, it seems like whatever the initial move is, it eventually goes the other way. Oracle popped up on their earnings and then gave it all back and ended up big time in the red. FedEx popped up on their earnings, gave it all back. Micron got hit down on their earnings, right it all, and it's trading higher. AOBC was trading up last night and is now giving it all back. It seems like, at least on the last few stocks there that have reported, that whatever the initial move is, fade it.
This was a case of strong earnings and a weak guidance. So the Q4 EPS 24 cents versus a 10-cent estimate. Sales 172 million versus 165 million. Like I said, good report. They beat on both there. The Q1 guidance, however, the EPS guidance The Q1 guidance was fine. The fiscal year guidance was weak, is I think why they're hitting it. The fiscal year EPS guidance missed by as much as 19 cents on the low end of the estimate. The sales guidance for the fiscal year was also light. That missed by anywhere from $40 to $20 million. So,
how much money did they make? What was the earnings?
They made 24 cents last quarter.
So they make some money.
Yeah, 10-cent estimate.
So the numbers were good, just the guidance. They find a reason to hit it, and they did that. I don't know what to say here. It's down. It seems like it has always, once the dust settles and we've had a few hours to digest this report, it seems like it's always hard to climb back. I'd say the report wasn't that bad. The guidance seemed that bad. Yes, it ran up a little bit into it, but it seems like if you're trying to buy them after, they've made, the initial fake out goes one way, which it did when it ran up to like 14, and now it seems like this is the direction. Anybody who bought after hours is like puking right now. Anybody who bought it into the report is puking right now. Anybody who thought it was a pretty good report and bought it at all in the last 3 hours last night and 4 hours this morning is puking it up. So I don't know. I think it's hard to come in here as a buyer.
Yeah, that run was actually into the 15 handle, Dennis. 15.15.
What?
Yeah, let me see.
It's got to $15 on the initial spike. Wowzers! Wowzers!
15.15.
They see that 24. The algos see, whoa, 24 versus 10. That's a huge beat. Bye. And let's read the report and the other.
Sell.
Go sell. Humans may have won that one.
$12. See if someone makes a stand here at $12, trading at $12.29. $12 is your current pre-market low. I don't know if I'd get super excited if we took out 12 because you have another low, another double bottom there at 1167 to 1170. So, be careful. Breaks under 12. You see those daily levels, man, a bunch of lows in the 11 handle. So we're not going to chew through that today. I think at least some people covering some shorts here. But 12, taking out the pre-market lows, the first thing we got to do.
I don't know. I'm scared. I think you're going to see an 11 handle on this. So there may be a lunch bet here. There may be a lunch bet. I think we can see the 11 handle.
No, Dennis, back in your cage. We're only 29 cents away from that.
That's 2% away. It's almost 3% away.
Okay. How about we do a lunch bet on that and a steak dinner that it doesn't trade under 1140?
1140 is a long ways away. 1140 is like this got to be taken out behind the woodshed and beaten continuously there to get it down to there. That's a long ways for a $12 stock. So
no lunch.
No bet. We tried. And I was trying to get a lunch from him. I thought I could get him under 12. I think it was under 12. I'm with the trend now, and the trend after hours here has been sell. So I'm sticking with that trend.
Okay. Trend is
this morning.
What about Sturm Ruger? Are you going to hit that going through $60? Look at that RGR chart, Dennis.
Ooh, I kind of like that, Joel. Yeah, you're on your toes here today.
Look at that. If it takes out six, I mean, this is a thin one. 229,000 shares traded yesterday, but you've had multiple lows at 60 and just under, trading down 15 cents. And anybody that has these pairs on might be needing to reevaluate here. So keep an eye on that 60. And then
I think 60 falls. I think this chart could be in trouble for today too. So I'm on the same side as you on this one. I'd be a seller, a Sturm Ruger. Earnings from Kroger, earnings from Darden, earnings from BKS. Let's go Kroger. Let's go Krogering.
Let's go Krogering. Okay.
All right. The Q1 EPS 73 cents. Woo! That beat by 10 cents. Sales 37.5 versus 37.3 billion dollars. I don't see any guidance. Just the Q1 numbers for KR.
Food stock's so hot right now. You see our Kraft Heinz?
Yeah, that I had to talk you out of selling.
I know, I almost did. I was going to sell both of them. I sold the Hershey's. I was going to sell the Kraft Heinz too, but I held it. So I'm in the Kraft Heinz, and it's looking better. Kellogg's, Campbell's Soup still coming up, looking like it wants to go higher. And obviously the Kroger is what sells some of these products. So I don't know. I don't think it's bad news that Kroger has a good report for our Kraft Heinz, because a lot of Kraft Heinz probably being sold in Kroger. So booyah, as Jim Cramer would say.
Wow, that nice pop up 232. I mean, if you want a level, keep an eye on for the pre-market traders are looking at is 28.86. That is your pre-market high. You've hit that on 2 different brackets. We haven't sniffed $30 in this thing since February of this year when you had a run up to 30.70. But keep an eye on that pre-market high continuation. Maybe wait for 30. I don't know. This is a big move for Kroger, though. Up 10%, coming back on the downside. Dennis, you find support in this thing if you shorted it. I mean, where would you want to try and bring it in? Let's see, 27.59 has been your low since you made the high. So there's your numbers, 28.85 and 27.59.
On the comeback trail, Darden Restaurants, DRI, also on the comeback trail. This is a big pop for the old Red Lobster Olive Garden combination, up 12% here. Which one do they own still? They spun one of them off, and I always forget. Is it Olive Garden or Red Lobster?
No, they still own Olive Garden.
They got rid of Red Lobster. Did it? Is it official? Is Red Lobster really
that
out
was
of
like
Darden?
3 years ago they did that.
They got rid of one of them, I remember, because I always just thought of this as Red Lobster Olive Garden, and I guess it's just Olive Garden here, and a bunch of other restaurants there too. Anyways, can't argue with these numbers. Spencer, what are these numbers?
Yeah, well, it was all right. $1.39 versus $1.35. Sales $2.13 billion, which is in line with the estimate. So I think there's maybe
must have been some guidance or something.
Maybe dig a little deeper to get the reason.
Up $10, $11 here now. It's got to be something else to that report. But anyways, here, Joel, tie with this is all-time highs.
What's their technicals? I mean, it's all-time high. We're over $100. We took out the former all-time high at 100.11. You're traded 105, but you're still trading at 104.88. Some decent volume here. So looks like it has some more work to do on the upside. What can you say about it, Dennis? If you really want out, maybe nibble some offers out there at the half and whole numbers and see if you get taken. Don't know what the short interest in this one is, but the shorts are on their heels today.
Yeah, there'll be a few always, but I don't think it's very high. Anyways, that's just impressive here. So Darden Restaurants, new all-time highs. Everybody's going to their Olive Garden to eat their nice breadsticks and Italian
salad. Do they have those in Canada? Do they have?
Yes, they do. Oh, you know what? They don't anymore, actually. They had them for a while, and they actually pulled out. I don't think there's any left in Canada. Maybe there is, and Canadians could correct me there. I know we had one in Windsor, Ontario for a while. We used to go to it, and they closed it down. So maybe they closed them all. Maybe they just closed some of them. I'm not sure. So curious if there is any other ones in Canada. But we go to the States and eat Olive Garden. I like it.
All right. We got a couple more earnings reports here, right?
Yeah, we can. BKS, Barnes & Noble, the bookstore. Did we get that report yet?
I don't think that's out yet.
Okay, so we're still waiting on BKS. It's trading up a nickel here. I don't know. This is one that probably could. What's the short interest on this thing? First is what I think about. We're going to squeeze them here today.
Too high.
Let's go take a look. And if BKS is out, let us know. I haven't seen the report go by either, but I want to go check the short interest here right now. I think this is one that probably has higher short interest. Oh, only 7%. Not that much. So there isn't that much squeeze potential here, but stock's been hot. We'll see. Other retailers have been somewhat hot here again. So I don't know. BKS, if it reports an okay quarter, I think it'll go up.
Do you want to go to this UBS note, this retail note?
I do.
Okay.
Let's go to the ratings. UBS came out with a note basically announcing coverage or upgrading or downgrading every single retail stock out there. Just run through them.
Well, here's the underlying. I'm reading from the note now. Here's the underlying thesis. The market has exaggerated the stores are dead idea. In our view, stores have important roles to play as complements to e-commerce. We see an opportunity to buy stocks where the market undervalues the company's brick and mortar assets. So,
okay, stop for a second. This note should have been out 6 months ago because they are way late to the party here. Obviously, we undervalued all these brick and mortar companies because stocks like Macy's and Kohl's and Nordstrom and all these other companies, all these retailers have come right back. So this note would have been helpful 6 months ago, UBS. Today, it's like, yeah, obvious guy says. Okay, continue.
Okay, here are the buy initiations. Skechers, American Eagle, Nordstrom, and Tapestry. Those are the buys.
Okay.
There's a lot of neutrals. You want me to read through all of them? There's like 10.
Not the neutral.
Right,
I hate neutral.
Okay.
Unless it's an upgrade to neutral or a downgrade to neutral. I hate initiations at neutral because you're telling me nothing.
I'll give you the neutral with the largest projection.
I hate this note already.
Wait, I'll give you the neutral with like the highest projected price target compared to where it is now is PVH, which is a neutral, but their price target is 10% higher than the current price.
Okay.
And as far as sells, there are 3 sells: TJX, Burlington, and Ralph Lauren. Those are the sells.
Oh, look, well, at least they got a contrarian call going here. So Burlington trading down $3 on this. TJX and Ralph Lauren, those are stocks that went straight up. So they're making some contrarian bets here. I can appreciate that. And even looking at the first upgrade with Skechers, that's a contrarian bet too, because that stock's been in the doghouse. So I guess I like it when you got some guts. It's all these, analysts that just blindly follow the crowd and, yeah, we'll raise our price target now on Netflix here because it's going straight out, and our previous $300 price target is way out to lunch, so we better correct that. That's, just following the crowd. But I like the contrarian calls. So there's a few of those in here, so I don't hate that note as much as I initially hated it when you read me the thing about the brick and mortar.
All right. If in the chat, if you guys want to cover any of those issues, just pop in here and I'll try and do it. We just probably mentioned 8 or 10 different stocks here in the sector. I will say
Go to Skechers.
Skechers. I bought a pair
because they went to a buy on this. Was there any upgrades or downgrades on that note?
No, it's all initiations.
It's all initiations.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You're trading up 48 cents at 29.65. So you are getting a nice move out of this. It's just been in a real tight range over the last few sessions. Kind of the top of that range is 29.72. So clears that, break into the 30 handle. Since you had the big decline, that must have been off an earnings report when it went from 42. It closed at 42.08. The next day closed at 30.70. So that could be another marking point. 30.99 was your April 23rd high if you're looking for a little bit more meat on the bone here in Skechers. And I like my new shoes. They're light. They're good. But
you know what? I didn't like my first pair of Skechers, and then for some reason I ended up with a second pair. So it's a good business model when you don't like the first pair, but they still suck you into buying a second pair. The second pair I actually like. So you know what? I don't know what they did differently, but these shoes are comfortable. And I remember the Reverend was on here originally saying the shoes were uncomfortable. I agreed with that because I had that first pair of Skechers that weren't any good. This pair is better. So either they improved it or I just bought the wrong pair initially.
They're the ultimate dad shoes, and you guys are both dads. So
is that what it is?
Yeah.
I became a dad, and then I all of a sudden like my Skechers shoes. Yep. Maybe that's what it is.
It is.
Well,
I wasn't a dad when I had my first pair of Skechers, and I was a dad when I had my second pair. So that's why I like it.
That's what it is.
Spencer, you know everything.
I was asking people in the store if they were little kid shoes or old people's shoes. So I couldn't decide, but I guess I fall right in the middle. But let's see. The stock's been sleepy.
You wish.
Okay.
That's what helps.
I'm in the upper quadrant there. If you want to do that.
I started doing some running. I started doing some exercise in there, Joel, last week. I figured I got to start doing something. I sit at my desk all day and just trade stocks. And otherwise, I do get some running chasing my kids around, but started doing a little bit of exercise in there last week. So I ran 5K 2 days ago.
Oh, nice job.
That's a lot for me.
Very nice, Dennis.
Yeah, I got to keep that up. So my buddy says you got to try to do that and continue to run 5K. I was like struggling to get that far.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do something here. Keep that ticker healthy.
All right, 10 minutes. We have Hima Reddy coming on at 8:35. She's an author and financial analyst. She's joining us in the chat, saying hi to everybody. Hi, Hima. We'll be talking to you in a few minutes. I did see some other ratings here of interest here. Dennis, you can't be too happy about Bernstein here downgrading your AMCX.
Picking on my stocks. I hate them when they pick on my stocks. Full disclosure, I sold half. I sold half of the AMCX a couple days ago just because it had run up so far. And I obviously bought this, and I talked about, the potential. I still think it could get bought out. But I was originally thinking when I bought this at $52 that this could eventually get bought out for $75 or $80. Well, ran up to almost 70 without a buyout, just on, potential, other people thinking the same thing with all the stuff that's going on with Fox in the media space. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell and book half of it. So I sold half. Holding the other half. It is downgraded today here, I believe, to underperform too. So it's going to be weak, but I'm still holding on to the half. I still think there's a potential suitor out there for AMCX that might say, hey, here's a cheap, media company that's, got some pretty good content. and maybe we'll scoop them up because like market cap's only like 3.9 billion.
Yeah, definitely digestible here. Flat. Is it offered though, Dennis? I see it flat here.
Yeah, it's offered at 67. Best bid 60. There's no market. It's an AMCX is lightly traded stock. It's probably, I would imagine, with it's a downgrade, Spencer, initiation.
No, it's
it's
a downgrade.
Downgrade to underperform?
Yep.
From Bernstein?
Yep.
You know how I'm all about the ratings. Okay, so that's probably 3%. So knock 3% off the price. So I would say this opens probably around 66, 65 to 66. So they'll knock it down on this. Could potentially test that low, 65.37. I'm not sure I can buy more up, buy it right back up here. It just got a little bit. The move, the 10-point move here in a week and a half was ridiculous for the stock. Here's a stock that moves 10 points all year, and it moved 10 points in a week and a half on the Fox stuff. That's why I booked half the profits, because it was just too frothy. I think back at 60, I'd probably reload. So a little bit too frothy up here at 67 still. Here I am talking against my book again because I still have half the position.
Look at your low from yesterday if you want to target. If you're short, 66.32. Just be careful there if you're buying it, because your 2-day low is way down at 65.37. Not a heavily traded stock. And the other thing here, when it made its high of the move on June 15th at 67.82, that's probably when Dennis sold. It traded 2.2 million. So you either had some shorts just finally thrown in the towel, or just some more Momo guys coming into this and buying, thinking it's going to $100. So keep an eye on your last 2 days low, 66.32 and 65.37. Real quick here, RD in the chat. We haven't done a Deutsche Bank update yet here.
Hasn't been doing anything.
No.
Just sitting here at $11. So I still think, okay, so you didn't make a new low on the move, which is the good news for Deutsche Bank. The bad news is it's just not rallying out of here either. So the longer it sits here around $11, the more I think eventually the next move is going to be down. I'm still sticking with, I think Deutsche Bank is going to be in single digits. And when it goes into single digits, it's going to drag all of the rest of the rest of the banks with it. And that is why I own 0 banks, at least U.S. banks, in my invest portfolio. And I don't intend to put any in there because I think there's a potential for people to get at least nervous if Deutsche Bank starts going into single digits.
And today, after the close, you have the stress test.
And that could be a catalyst to drive them. Wasn't it last time, Joel? Was it last time they really rallied on the stress test results, didn't they?
You know what? I can't remember.
I feel like they did. I feel like they all, and there was raising dividends and there was other stuff going on, and that can follow. I mean, if they do well in the stress test, you might actually see, some dividend raises follow too. So there is a catalyst here now.
Short term.
I don't know if I'm short. I don't think I'd short the U.S. banks here. You got two things. The stress test the next few days could propel them up. So that's interesting. So maybe there's a 2 or 3 day trade here to buy them here for a couple days. Not as investments, though, and just be careful. That Deutsche Bank starts to get ugly. So I'm getting the hell out of those bank stocks. But there may be a couple day trade here. So you know what? You could get me bullish for the next couple days here with these stress tests on these banks.
All right, I just in the chat here from George Gotch, he's OSTK overstock. What do you think of that coming out of a long base? I will tell you, and I saw this the last couple days. Someone's been marking this up in the pre-market. Yesterday, someone printed 41.50 on 55 shares.
Really?
Now, yep. And now someone just printed 41 even on a grand total of 20 shares. So, it does have some nice price movement, but I don't know. I don't know what kind of validity you could put on those prints.
Joel's saying those are potentially painting the tape, where if you've got a strong position, a big position, you're trying to spook maybe some shorts. We know the short interest is very high here on overstock. That, maybe you try to get some prints over the 40 handle, you spook them, and eventually maybe follow suit. It doesn't work as well as it used to. I think people just know that there's a lot of retail traders out there too that have access to the pre-markets, and some of them don't know what they're doing. A lot of our retail traders know exactly what they're doing. There's some that don't know what they're doing, and they just send a blind order in the pre-market. Oh, I like that overstock, and let's go buy it right now, up 2 points. And obviously it's not. So when you see 20 share orders, it's usually a smaller trader because it's a pretty small order, or it's somebody trying to paint the tape. I think a lot of it's just smaller traders here now that are just getting into it and honestly just don't know what they're doing. So it could be that, or it could be, it could be some paint in the tape there too, trying to make it look like it's going higher. You know what? I'm torn on this one. I had it. I thought it was going to squeeze. It tried a couple times to get over 40. It couldn't. And then when some of the momos started falling out of bed, I sold it. So I think I ended up making 50 cents on it or something. So, I didn't really do, and this was for a swing trade. It was just on the potential that it might squeeze them. It hasn't done it yet. It's been sitting here so long. I still think there's the potential we could get up over 40 to squeeze them. So I kind of like it, but at the same time, it had 3 or 4 chances to squeeze them. You saw a lot of other stocks squeezing over the last week and a half, and this didn't. And because it didn't do it, that's why I sold it, because I can't sit around and wait forever for it to squeeze. And if it's not squeezing when everything else is squeezing, that's telling me that maybe there's just too much natural selling in there. Needs to get above 40, 41, and hold above 41.
I got a better level for you here.
Give it to me.
Your last 3 months, that's April, May, and June, your highs are 41.50, 41.45, and 41.30. And then the high in March was up at 63.50. So above 41.50, you got a definite breakout here. But, just keep an eye on that. That takes off, then you got a gap to fill and overstock up at 43.75. Dennis, out of the pre-market chat here, Special K98, a longtime listener, just tuning into the chat to be part of the community, asks, what are your guys' favorite indicators to use? I'll just go quickly. I mean, for me, it's, the S&P 500 futures and, the top 10, 12 components of it, because that makes up 25% of the index. Dennis, you got a lot of different things you want.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking technical indicators, I don't use any. I don't even use moving averages, and people say I'm nuts for that, but you know what? I've been profitable 19 straight years without moving averages, so I'm not going to, and if it works for you, continue to work them. I don't use hardly any technical indicators at all. I use price. And when I start to see this price start to come higher, it starts to make me think, that I'm interested. I like to see the stock start to move up. So I do use charts, but I keep it very, very simple. I like support, resistance, and trends, and that's it. I always want, I do a lot of teaching on, I do at break trading as well. And when I teach technical analysis, I teach it in 5 minutes. It's support, resistance, and trends. That's my entire technical analysis. That's my entire book. And that's what I use. And I've kept it simple like that. And it seems to work for me because I do use those support, resistance, and trends, and they do work. Now, if you're talking non-technical indicators, I got a ton of them. So obviously, the number one thing I'm looking at, always looking at news. I mean, you got to know what is happening. But, I'm more of a relationship-based trader because something is trading higher. I'm going to maybe buy something else off of that. So, call it pair trading, but, it's kind of like exotic pair trading because I find different relationships and different, ways of doing things. But, and I do a lot of statistical arbitrage as well, even on the ratings. Like I know, approximately what a rating is worth from Goldman versus a rating that's worth from, a smaller shop like, B. Riley or something like that. So just knowing those statistical, numbers there, and most of it is in my head just from trading all these years, gives me kind of a statistical advantage. And that's what I'm trading, is those statistical edges.
Okay. All right. We got a minute here before we bring on our guest, Hima Reddy. Dennis, any notable imbalances here?
Yeah, and there's another indicator that I use. This is floor disseminated information that comes at 8:30. The NYSE imbalances are published from the floor. At 9:28, the NASDAQ imbalances come out. So that's why you often see it on the NASDAQ stocks really move at 9:28. So that's when you get the opening imbalances looking, and the opening indication price also looking at as well. This morning here, we're seeing General Electric with some selling pressure, 376,000 shares to sell. It did hold. It is good news that it held yesterday. We talked that it needed to hold 1270. It did, so it passed the first test, but it looks like it wants to go for another test here again today. If GE takes out 1273, 1270, I'm going to round it down to, which is the low of the move, I think it's $12. As long as it can hold 1270, there's a chance for it to bounce. It had a nice little bounce yesterday, but you didn't get any follow through. It sold right back off, so you squeezed them. So basically that bounce yesterday was people that were selling it off the open, saying this is going straight down. And you squeezed them, and it ran really hard up to 1310. Why do I know it's a squeeze? Because it's a violent intraday candle going straight up. And, there's a lot of people that probably short it right off the hop. They think they're wrong. Like, oh, no, now I see this thing about Dow stocks coming back. And when they're out of the Dow, kicked out of the Dow, they go up, and then they scare in the cover. Well, it's come right back because natural selling pressure is just too high in GE. This is just, a stock that is in the doghouse. And if it falls below 1270, I like it down to 12.
Okay, we got our guest coming on here at 8:35. That's Hima Reddy. She's an author and financial analyst. Likes to look at the charts. We'll see what her favorite indicators are. We'll be right back with Hima.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Pre-market prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elkanah, and Dennis Dick here, joined now with Hima Reddy, author and financial analyst. HimaReddy.com is her site. Hima, long time no talk. How's it going for you?
I'm good. How are you guys all doing?
We're doing good here. Just observing the volatility here in the markets. We're glad to have you on. You're a fan of Gann analysis, WD Gann. In fact, you wrote a book, A Guide to Building Your Technical Analysis Toolbox. Did you have to experiment with other technical systems or technical analysis techniques, or did you just find this one off the hop and like it?
Well, it's that I was introduced to Gann's work by my dad when I was a teenager. So it was just that was the first door that was open to me, but that I did go on to get the full professional technical analysis education with the CMT. And I have studied other indicators and other tools. So Gann is, I guess you could say, the core of how I approach any market, but I do use other methods for technicians on top of it, for sure.
Okay, and just walk us through like your time frames and stuff. Are you do you try and out, like, let's say over the weekend, look at weekly and monthly charts, or you just focus on the dailies? Tell us kind of how you analyze the market from a time frame perspective.
Sure. So starting with the shortest approach, I write research, or it's really not even research. It's a very short report on the E-mini futures and NASDAQ mini futures for my subscribers every day. And it's called the skinny on the mini because it's supposed to be short and sweet and to the point. So on that, I write based on an hourly chart just to kind of suit everyone, but I recommend that they trade on a 5-minute, 3-minute, down to 1 minute. I'm not a fan of tick charts. I don't know, there's the speed or the lack of time measure something about it, but whatever works for folks. For stocks, depends again on a person's approach. I am actually managing my family office. Unfortunately, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and he left behind accounts for my mom, which I'm very thankful for, but she has no idea about the markets. So that is where I swing trade, and I look primarily at daily and weekly charts using 60-minute supply and demand.
Okay, and then when you're drilling down on the indexes, we like to drill down on the major components in the indexes. Are you looking at the charts of, let's say, I always talk about the top 11 stocks make up over 20% of the index. Are you looking at the indexes, drilling down, and then looking at the individual stocks?
So I actually just do that on occasion when my subscribers are kind of clamoring for it, especially if they want to know how, FANG stocks are doing, especially Apple, or anything that ties close to the ES, say oil. That's important. I think oil and the equity indexes, especially the S&P, have a very interesting relationship. So I don't start my day with that. I'm a pure chartist. And if I'm talking about a certain widget and that widget happens to be the E-mini futures, I just go right to it. And obviously, like anybody else, I'm not right 100% of the time, but I'm right enough that people have been sticking around with me for years, seeing what I have to say every day.
So what is GAN analysis telling us about the S&P 500 index futures here? The whole world is bullish. I'm the only one that's a little bearish here over the next 3 months. But what does your analysis and what does the GAN analysis have to say about the S&P futures?
Sure. Well, I have my chart up here that I used to publish my Skinny and the Mini this morning, which obviously y'all can't see, but just when this hour started. So when the 8 a.m. Eastern hour started, I was bearish and I told my subscribers. So I said, look, guys, we've been recovering off this 2762 support since the middle of the night, which was a pretty good support intraday for 2 GAN reasons. One is that it was 50% of an important previous hourly bar, and it was also obviously a recent pivot low. But I said, I think we're going to move lower. And since I published that, we're now 4 points lower. But I do give further supports out and further kind of barriers that need to be overcome in order to keep falling or keep rising. So for today on the ES, I am bearish.
Hima, question from our chat here. Do you use RSI at all?
Yes. So actually, the RSI I use in a pretty unorthodox way. So the usual approach is that you have these 2 zones of overbought, oversold at 30 and 70 on a scale of 0 to 100. I call my RSI the RSI power zones. The zones part comes from a football analogy, actually, that I used to explain it, like the end zone. And I have my RSI divided into 4 different zones using 8 different numbers to measure them. So I actually have an ebook I just put out on this called The Winning RSI Playbook that details how this setup occurs, and then anybody could go recreate it on their own charts in terms of the settings. So what I see right now, for example, with the RSI power zones on the 60-minute ES is that it's still weak after holding in what I call the bear market resistance zone. So generally in falling markets, the RSI lives in the lower part of the indicator and kind of peaks out around 55 to 65. And that's what's been happening. So yeah, RSI, but with a twist.
Okay. Let's look a little farther term than today. Let's go out, a week or month or 3 months. We had our February sell-off, went right back up. Not, NASDAQ made new highs, but the S&Ps didn't make new highs here. Go a little bit farther out. We made that major resistance in the S&P at the 2795 area on the week of expiration. Had a little scare. What was that on Monday or Tuesday with the tariff talk here? Let's go a little bit farther out. Let's go a week, a month, and maybe 3 months.
Sure. So on a short term, in terms of a week. So now I'm looking at my own daily chart. I actually this morning refined my view that I expect actually pretty choppy trading between now, so yesterday technically, the 20th, and June 28th. It doesn't mean that there won't be tradable moves in an intraday view, but sort of like how we had really choppy price action from May 14th to May 22nd, I kind of see that occurring again, but probably with more downside pressure in the short term each day. So that's about, a week or 2 out. From there, I keep those forecasts tighter. I actually don't give my subscribers 3-5 month forecasts.
Okay.
Because I forecast off the contract chart, not the continuous chart. So for me, all I care about right now is what the September contract's doing. And that's the zone I'm looking at. Depending on what kind of price action happens by June 28th, then I would have an update on whether I see further upside or downside.
Hima, let's talk about your trading time frame. Are most of your trades intraday? Are you mostly swing trading? Talk about your time frame and how you and how often you're trading.
Sure. So I do a little bit of both. Now that I have a kind of full-fledged business of education and research, it's a little harder to carve out quiet time to trade. Right. I don't really feel the need to trade past 11 a.m. Eastern, which is why I don't post a midday update for my subscribers. A lot of them ask about that. And I'm like, look, I believe, especially in the ES and NQ markets, you can get your moves out of it most days by 11:30 maybe. And I don't believe you need to come back in the afternoon. For swing trading, like I said, I've got my family office I'm managing. That is more of a weekly analysis with daily refinement as needed. For example, if I know that big news is coming out around the company or earnings, but that has a much longer perspective, right? That's for my mom to be able to live out her years and retirement. And so I'm not as worried about the day-to-day fluctuations.
One final question from me here. Do you include the overnight trading action in your analysis, or do you stick strictly to the 9:30 to 4:15 time frame for the S&P 500 futures?
That's a great question that I actually get a lot. I include every trading minute. So I do not cut off at the regular trading hours. I'm looking at what happened in what I call the overnight. So since I'm publishing here in New York, but I have traders in London and other places. And so for them too, that overnight trading, as we call it in the US, is very relevant. And I think the volumes can be very telling on the overnight as to what the next day might bring. So yeah, absolutely. I use 24-hour charts when it comes to futures.
All right. Hima Reddy has been on with us. Her website, again, Hima Reddy, reddy.com. Hima, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a while, and thanks for coming on, and have a good day.
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys. And again, you can get that ebook at himareddy.com/Zynga. I don't know if you guys can drop that in the chat for everyone, but it's a free ebook.
We have our own code.
Details how easy RSI.
We have our own code. Look at that. ZINGA. Look at that. I'll put that in the chat. All right. Thanks.
Nice.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Hey, we're all about free. We're all about free.
We like free content.
Great.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
RCA says, great guest there. It's nice to get a different perspective on the markets. S&P's down $4 here at 68 even. That little rally that we had here, was it at the top of the show, or was when I was doing my prep? No, at the top of the show here, we ran up to 71.50, folks. That was your high on the 815 and 830 bar. Reason that is significant is because you have the close at 27.72. And also, not to get too numbery here, but Dennis, you're going to like this number, and I can figure it for the SPY if you want. The S&P's made that recent high of the move at 27.96. We had a breakdown to 27.35.75. Halfway back is 27.66. 66 and a quarter was Tuesday's close. So that's the big level that I'm looking at today. 27.
We like the 50% retracements. So maybe that's one thing me and Joe both like. And, like I said, support, resistance, and trends what I use the most, but we do respect the 50% as well. So that is something we look at. So that's what Joel was saying. When it coincides with another number, gives it more relevance. So.
Much more relevance. And it's also good to use that if you're, if a stock has a big rally and then, eventually has a retracement, unless it's something like, IQ or HUA. A lot of times you do get, a pullback, there's some GAN people out there, 0.382, 0.618. More about the 50% for, a pullback or retracement to verify the validity of a higher move or for a continuation lower.
Let's talk all those momos. We haven't talked them for a second here. And I want to go to Dropbox DBX because we know that was taking off there the last couple of days. If you're following me in the chat, I did sell all of my Dropbox there yesterday. I had said it and hinted on the show multiple times. I thought a lot of these stocks were going to open too strong and I was going to fade the open. And that's exactly what I did. I sold my Dropbox on the opening tick. And not only that, I actually went short it on the opening tick as well. Immediately it came in like a buck. So I covered that. It bounced back up. I got short again at the 4070 level. So I was just all over Dropbox yesterday. Not that I, do that all the time. Sometimes I make some very bad calls, but I was just in the zone on Dropbox yesterday. So I sold my 4070 long. That was my long swing trade. And then I day traded short it twice from 4070, grabbing, I think, 60 or 70 cents off the bat, wow. And then another 50 cents off the bat after that. Now, again, I don't know how the hell to exit trade because it's at $37. I wish I was still short it right now, but those were day trades. Those weren't longer term swing trades. So now DBX has fallen completely out of bed. We are 6 points lower than where we were 2 days ago here. Now it gets to a point where, okay, there's going to be some people looking below that missed the initial run to possibly buy this thing. I think I will re-enter this thing at some point in time. I like it more in the 34 or 35 handle as opposed to up here. I think there's still a little bit of air here, but we get another whoosh here today, I actually might reload my stock. So keep an eye on DBX. This is one that I've obviously had from 31 to 42 and now and sold the rest of my 4070 and I've been lucky on this one.
You have been. And 36 is my area of interest here. That's 50% retracement from the low of the back on the IPO at 27.70. You had a 43.50 high. So 50% comes in right in at 36.
I'm still sticking with my comments from 2 days ago that I believe IQ, HUYA, SOGO, all those momos I believe topped out 2 days ago. So, which is 3 days ago here now. So SOGO 1550, I think that topped out. HUYA over $50. He had multiple candles there 2 days ago, 50.49. I think that's topped out too. And IQ, I'm out of all of these things now. 46.23, 45.50 did not make a new high yesterday. It's starting to leak here a little bit today. IQ has held on better than the other ones. I mean, HUYA, you're talking about stocks $8 off. DBX significantly off the highs. Not that it has anything to do with IQ, but all these were little momentum plays that were really flying, newer IPOs. So they kind of were trading together to a certain extent. I feel like they topped out yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm sticking with it. I still think the top is in here, and I'm a seller of rallies on these things now.
Okay, and we talked Dropbox, but Box had some interesting price action yesterday, right?
Crazy action in BOX.
Yeah,
there was rumors here. I saw on Twitter. I don't know where these rumors come from on Twitter. Like you go and you can go into your Twitter feed and you hit, if you really want to like learn how to use Twitter better, the one thing as a trader you can do is you type in the ticker symbol. So you go like $BOX, type that in. And then when you just bring up, you'll see it automatically defaults to top. I don't look at top. I look at latest. And that's every tweet that's happening with BOX in it. So if there's any news that's just happening here in the last couple seconds, there might be a trader that's posted it. So maybe you've missed something. Yesterday, I saw multiple ones, and Spinner was alerting us to this as well in the chat, that there was rumors that CRM was sniffing around. I don't know if there's any, thing to that. I never saw that come from a legitimate source other than Twitter. I think sometimes people just make stuff up, post on Twitter, and it gets it going, which, obviously should be illegal if it is. But I don't know if there's anything to that or not. But that was the rumor there yesterday. There was also another one, SFIX, that was rumored yesterday, and I never saw this anywhere except Twitter as well, that Oprah had taken a stake. And if you look here this morning, they actually mentioned it on CNBC Fast Money last night that it was a rumor. And when they mentioned on CNBC Fast Money last night, the thing popped 70, 80 cents.
She denied
so the
that.
rumor
she denied
is that Oprah's taken a stake, but I don't think
she denied it.
She denied it.
Yeah.
When did she deny it?
That was at, I think Bloomberg got a hold of her. That was yesterday. It was like 11 o'clock. 11.
So why in the hell is CNBC Fast Money pumping it again then? Man, I don't know. I watch CNBC Fast Money all the time. I love everybody. Pete Najarian and all those guys are great guys that are on there. But they can't help with the content that the producers are throwing at them. So, like we obviously we've had Tim Seymour on the show. We know the Najarian brothers. We know a lot of these people who are on CNBC Fast Money. They're great guys, and they're good analysts too. I mean, Tim Seymour is top notch. Like he knows his stuff. He is on there really analyzing. He's top notch. I don't know why they want to do a segment on something though if it was already denied, because they acted last night on the CNBC Fast Money segment. This is a rumor. Oprah might be in this, though they never mentioned once that she denied it. It's up this morning. I kid you not. It's trading up here 70 cents this morning because Fast Money featured that and said Oprah might have a segment. Would have been nice if they would have mentioned, she denied it. So do you have that official?
I should say that her rep, which is the same thing, but her rep denied it, according to Bloomberg. So
it was just kind of, it had obviously come back down probably after she denied it, and then it got the mention on Fast Money last night. It's trading up here again. So she has denied it. I think that's probably a frothy thing to probably take advantage of.
Hey, Dennis, coming out of the YouTube chat here, Simon Holland asked, what do you guys think of stock twits?
We have opinions.
I like stock twits.
I know Joel has opinions.
On StockTwits. I think I have like 70,000 followers on StockTwits.
No way.
I think I do. Go to my StockTwits account. I use Twitter more than StockTwits, but sometimes I tweet over at StockTwits too. Nick Shaheen uses it all the time. How many followers I got on that? I'm going to my StockTwits right now. My profile.
I'm going to your StockTwits too because I don't believe you.
Triple D Trader.
62,000.
62,000. 62. Oh, sorry, I lied. I have 62,000 followers.
I told you didn't have 70,000.
I have 62,000. So I got a few followers on StockTwits. I like that too. The StockTwits stuff. So it's good. Howard Lindzen. I mean, that's if I can't find news anywhere And obviously I look at all the news services. You look at your Benzinga Pro, and you try to find the news every weekend. You look at your Twitter as well. If I can't find it, I'll go try StockTwits too. And sometimes you'll find there's some smart traders on StockTwits, and sometimes it'll be like, boom, this person took a position in it, or this person had an option buy or something. There's something driving it. So. And you're
because you kind of went silent there for a second.
Yeah, I think we had like an internet fart, but we're back.
Anyways, all I'm saying is I like StockTwits. I think you find some good information on there too.
StockTwits loves you. You're following 19 people, and you have 62,000 followers. That is a ratio of ratios.
Well done.
Oh
I need to follow more people on StockTwits.
Nicely done.
Oh my Lord.
I follow Nick Shaheen.
Okay. Yeah, 19. Woo.
Can I
think I follow you. Oh, you're lucky. I think I follow you. Who are my 19 people I'm following? I gotta follow some more people on StockTwits. I follow lots on Twitter.
You follow JC, you follow Tommy Lackey, you follow Anne-Marie Band, Nick, you follow Joe Saluzzi.
Anne-Marie Band. We haven't had her on for a long time.
Okay, I'll get her on. Okay. Anyways, Dennis, we are heading into the open here. 3.5 minutes until, or not the open. Opens in 31 minutes. But what are you thinking here? We're down 4 points. It's just this. The buy the dipper is going to come in for the third day in a row, get us green, and get us back up to that pre-market high.
It's such an interesting market, and I think it was Spinner making a point yesterday. Did you know the Dow had been down for 6 or 7 days in a row? It doesn't feel like it though. It feels like we've been like a lot of stocks have been straight up in that time period. You look at a chart like Google's breaking out to new highs, Facebook breaking out to new highs. It doesn't feel like we're in a Dow down 7 days in a row type of market. I don't know if it closed down yesterday or not. I didn't look at it, but I mean, you can see some separation here. There's definitely, this is what you call the absolute stock pickers environment. And there is you can't just buy any stock and it's just going to go up here right now. It's like some stocks are going up and some stocks are going down. If you're in the right ones, they're going up no matter what the market is doing. So, like the squares, that just broke out new highs, up another buck here again today. The Netflixes, I mean, the Momos are Momoing as good, at least the bigger Momos. They are full on Momo mode here, with the Netflix and the squares and the ones that have really been going. I still think PayPal too. PYPL, that looks just itching to me. I think PayPal's $100 here eventually. I know I was talking with Jeremy Newsom. He said it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Completely agree with him. I think PayPal's going to be $100 here as well.
Stargazer, 10 days in a row up for Weight Watchers here. Well over. Look at that. Holy.
What? 103 now. That stock is unstoppable. Man, you don't fade Oprah. I tell you, if she confirmed that she was in that Stitch Fix, I was going to buy it. But she denied, so we're not buying it. Anyways, the next stock that Oprah buys, I am buying.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in.
She bought that Weight Watchers at $6 or $7. It's $103 here now. Man, there is nobody more powerful and influential, at least in like the media, space or whatever, or I don't know what you call her space, but anymore, because she obviously doesn't have she still has her network.
She's life.
She's just so powerful.
Her space is life. That is her space. The one thing
she's just powerful in life, period.
I want to tip my hat today to Goldman for making a call on a couple of stocks that are with potential M&A implications. So they're going out and making a call on the media space. They're upgrading Verizon and Charter, and they're downgrading Dish and Sirius. So going ahead and make the upgrades were to buy, and the downgrades Sirius to sell, Dish to neutral. A space that's obviously very up in the air right now in terms of media, but they like the pipes, meaning the people who control the pipes, Verizon and Charter, and good. They're making a call, so I like it.
I agree with this. You know what? I just look at Dish, and I think it's rallied basically 15% off of all this Fox stuff, and people think, oh, maybe somebody will buy Dish. Who the hell is buying Dish after the debacle that AT&T had with DirecTV? I don't think anybody's touching Dish. So this is like a rally that I agree with Goldman on here. Could it continue higher? As Fox in this bidding war, and could a rising tide raise all ships or whatever the hell the saying is? Yes, it could. It has done it with Dish, but I think this is a dog, and I think this is still a long-term sell. I think DirecTV would be so much lower than the $85 or $90 that AT&T paid for it if they actually were still obviously trading as a stock and not part of the AT&T. So Dish as a freestand, I don't see anybody coming and buying Dish. I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
That's buy some of these smaller media companies like the Lionsgates and the AMCX. I've said multiple times I think AMCX is a candidate, but Lionsgate too. I could see them getting bought out too, and so I think it's rallying for a reason. But I don't see any reason for Dish. I don't think anybody's buying them. So I agree with you.
All right, Spencer, you want to wrap things up and preview the final show?
I hope you guys enjoyed. I thought we had I think every show is good, but I thought today's show was especially good. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope we got to as many. Oh, wait, one thing I wanted to, before we leave, Joel, can you please repeat your levels for crude and the S&Ps from the top of the show? Someone had asked that like a long time ago.
Okay. Two numbers that I'm going to be keeping an eye on in the S&Ps on the upside are your close from Friday, or excuse me, your close from Tuesday is 27.72, and just above that is mid-range on the session is 73.75. So that's what you need to clear. That's going to be resistance if we get a morning rally. On the downside, if in fact we take out that pre-market low, yesterday's low is at 27.57 and a quarter. That's still $10 away from here. After that, you get into that vacuum area from Tuesday where you had an intraday low in the 46 handle. But those are a couple levels for you on the upside, couple levels for you on the downside. Crude has had some nice ranges as of late. It's trading down 59 cents at 65.12. I don't know. Swing trade, if you're leaning on the low of the move, that's 63.40. No real good numbers in crude. Major resistance at 67, and your major support down at 63.40. But maybe we'll get a few days of consolidation and get some better numbers for you in crude.
All right.
Go ahead, Spencer.
All right, that's it, folks. You can catch the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn, or just rewatch the show on YouTube. Hope you all have a good rest of your day, and we will see you guys on Friday.